All right.
How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm doing amazing. We are live, Mr. Daniel Eng, and thank you
Excited to
so
be
much.
here.
Yeah, thank you for being here, and thanks for jumping on. I do want to properly introduce you, though. When I met Daniel, I was kind of in a strange situation in my life. What was I going to do next? And I sat in his office, and my pastor, Pastor Tim Goad, has said, "Watch how other people treat the leader." That's a big sign. And I watched Calvin and Colin, the way they treated you, how you treated them. And I immediately started to feel good. And then as we were sitting there, you said something to me that my great friend and great leader, Fitzgerald, said to me, geez, 19, almost 20 years ago. And Fitz told me, he said, hey, one of the biggest enjoyments you'll get out of building a business is watching other people grow. And at the time, Daniel, I was completely broke. Our cars are being repossessed. Our house is almost in foreclosure. And I thought, man, this man doesn't know what he's talking about. I need to watch my bank account grow. I don't really care about other people growing. And what I learned is that statement that he said to me was oh so true. And the more I focused on helping other people grow, the stronger my business got. So fast forward 19, 20 years, I'm sitting in your office, and you almost said the exact same thing. I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember exactly how it was, but you said, I'm here to watch other people grow. I'm here. My job that God has given me is to help other people. And you didn't say this part, but be successful like you. But that's really what you're saying is to help other people along in the process. And I remember at that moment when you said that, I flashed back to 19, 20 years ago to my good friend Fitz telling me that. I'm texting my pastor, Tim Goad, as you're talking to me under the table. And in capital letters, I said, I found it. And he goes, what did you find? I said, I'll call you later. And that's just the type of leader that Daniel is. He's very humble. I'm going to try to work really hard in this interview to get him to not be too humble, because what he did is amazing, and you need to know it. And he knows it, but he's a humble man. But the decision that he made, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy.
Yeah, and I'll get into that in a second. But so I have now been with Daniel for about 6 months, and I'm watching one of the best things a leader can receive is compliments from other people that are not in his organization. And I was in Cabo, Mexico with Daniel, and everybody I introduced myself to and said, I'm part of Daniel Eng's organization. I'm part of We Partners. Everyone stopped and told me what a great man he is. And that was a cool feeling. I was like, I already knew it, but to hear every single person when I'd introduce myself and say, I'm Paul Roberts, I'm part of Daniel Eng's organization, We Partners, they would go on and on and on about what a servant leader he is. And I already knew that, but it's always good to hear it from other people that are not in his organization, And so that was amazing. So I asked Daniel, I said, listen, you made a bold, big decision years ago, and I want to interview you. I want to ask you the question, because I'm always like, I love success stories, right? They get you fired up. They're exciting, but I want the story behind this success. I want to know the sleepless nights. I want to know, that, oh, should I do this? I'm nervous, da, 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 da. So I got some questions I'm going to ask him. And the first question is,
fire away.
Good. What initially attracted you to eXp Realty, and what made you decide to make the bold move to join this company?
So really, Paul, it wasn't about the company itself first. It was really about my other leader, James Huang. He was our president for the franchise that I own with Calvin, my business partner. And, he had the opportunity to present this to us, and we were looking at the model, and we realized, this was a startup concept for the commercial side, creating a commercial division. And EXP already had a track record on the residential side. And, when he was hired to run a new company for EXP Commercial, we follow our leaders, just like Paul, when you mentioned your leaders, same thing. We follow our leaders knowing that there's an opportunity that's being presented, and at the same time is looking at what we're giving up to, right? Because it is a big decision of any kind of change. So
Yeah. So that leads us into question number 2 is, can you share some of the challenges or concerns you faced when considering to leave your brokerage? And I need everybody to hear me. He had a successful company that he walked away from. That's big. That's not easy. It's hard enough to walk away from a company that's going down the toilet. People hold on for dear life to that stuff. He walked away from something successful. So can you share some challenges or concerns you faced when considering leaving?
Well, I was partnered on, actually, we owned 2 franchises, where I had a residential franchise with other partners. I had a commercial franchise with Calvin. And of course, as any franchise owner, you have a contract and you're trying to figure out what to do. And when I felt like EXP had both components, had a commercial side, is going to have a commercial side, and there's a residential component, I had to make a decision, right? Either I was trying to merge everyone together, and that was kind of what we were trying to work on. But at the point of where it didn't make sense, so I just allowed my other partners to continue on with their franchise, and that's what happened. And I started back with 3 people, right? And before you make that decision, it's like, do I start all over again? Because I've been running a company for 12 plus years, and and just growing. But then opportunity, right? It's not opportunity, not doesn't knock at your door all the time. And even with this opportunity, we didn't understand where we would go still. Right. So that's the thing, Paul. Yeah. I didn't know it. Even my business partner, Calvin, did not know, like, where could it really take us?
Yeah.
It was actually 6 months in the platform we realized what we have. So it was really, having faith in our leader, Jim, right? We were in that franchise with him because we had faith in him.
Yeah.
And that's why we were there. But when he had the opportunity,
Yeah, I got to reiterate. I got to say this again for the people that are going to listen to this now, or listen to in the future. The man jumped the EXP and commercial hadn't even started yet. And Daniel's a commercial dude. I mean, him and Calvin are commercial people, and they had enough faith. It must drive you nuts sometimes when you show the rev share to some people and show them how much money they can make, and they're thinking about it, and you're thinking, dude, I jumped over here and my division didn't even exist.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have the all the tools yet. We didn't have, there was a lot of things. I mean, but we knew going forward, this is a ground level opportunity, right? To create something with our leaders, with other partners, other commercial people around the country. And that was the beauty of it, because it allowed growth in all 50 states. Right. And we weren't even licensed in Texas yet. So I had to wait. Right. Alabama, my friend Keith Andrews was the first broker in EXP commercial to get that thing open. And we were in Texas, we were waiting. So we maybe that's another podcast. Right. But but yeah, I mean, that was the challenges as an owner to understand, like, hey, how long is the growing pains going to be?
Yeah. So. And that's why I love this man, because this is total faith. I mean, couldn't even work in his own home state. So that kind of leads me to the next question. What were some of your, moving to a virtual platform? What were some of the, hesitations, nervousness, whatever going on there?
Well, I mean, we're all virtual, right? We have technology.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is cloud-based, right? Everything's on our mobile phones. And, when I looked at the model and saw, like, what did they do? Glenn Sanford, our founder of the company, he's basically found a solution. And it wasn't until 3.5 years ago someone presented that way where I looked at it. And when I heard about EXP probably about 6 years ago, I didn't understand that there was a solution. They found a solution for something, right? And when you're understanding real estate, we're a real estate company without real estate. But what operations, accounting, all those transactions, everything's done in this virtual world, in this cloud-based company where we have the metaverse. We were in the metaverse in 2009 before the word metaverse was used.
Yeah.
So
Ground floor.
Yep.
This next question, I don't even think I should ask it because I haven't seen the ego come from you yet. You're very faith based. You're very I watch you treat people that have done 0 transactions with the same enthusiasm and love as you treat people that have done 90 transactions. So I haven't seen much of an ego, but if you did have an ego at all, how did you navigate through that and let that go and start the new model here, with almost nothing?
I did have an ego. Remember, I heard about the model 6 years ago, and I said no, and I no a few times for a meeting. Because I own my own company. I had 2 franchises going. I had great partners. Why would I even look at another model? And not even understanding. I'm not saying it's competition, but just not understanding other new things, right?
Yeah.
Technology, right? If I was, if I'm just using an iPhone, why wouldn't I look at the Android and just kind of compare? Because they're both good devices, right? They do a lot of the same things, but at the same time, it's like what it's going to benefit and work and for my business, right? So when I looked at this platform 6 years ago, really not looking at it because I didn't know that they had a solution.
Yeah.
So, but going back to like agents, it doesn't matter because we all started somewhere. I started my real estate licensing back when I was 18, back in 1998, right after high school. That summer, driving to Addison every day. I did seven days a week, getting those classes knocked out for my summer because I didn't have college credit and all that, so I had to do more courses.
Yeah.
So because the requirements, I think, were more than it is now. I think it's easier to get your classes now.
All right. This is the part that I like the most, and you're going to have a tough time answering it. I'm going to get my best to get it out of you. Let's talk about sleepless nights. You're leaving something successful. You're walking into the unknown. You had to have some sleepless nights. You and Stephanie had to have some serious conversations. You had to have looked in the mirror a couple times saying, "What am I doing?" Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, it was sleepless nights because, once I understood that, I made the decision that we were going to go to this platform on the commercial side. I really wanted my other partners. I truly believe that we could have had a solution to continue on the partnership, bring everyone over. But at the same time it's not easy, right? Because if we look at the partnership, how long we've been together, does it make sense? And sometimes, partnerships don't last forever. We understand that, right? In a business, and it was a tough decision. It really was when I had to make a decision. Well, if they are not going to sit down, analyze it a little bit more, believe in the model, because my main business is commercial real estate. I'm not a residential guy, right? They were running a residential company, and we had about 40 agents at the time, and on the commercial we had about 8. During the pandemic, we had to scale down, and then knowing that if I came over here, we would start with maybe 2, just Calvin and I. Judy Ratsamy, she had faith and she stuck around, and I'm proud of how she's grown her business and become a leader that she is. But going to the sleepless nights, talking to my wife thought it was crazy. She's like, because I always start new things, and she was just worried like it's gonna put more work in her plate, right? And I didn't want that. My wife works very hard. She helps with the family assets, the shopping centers that we own, and handling all the accounting and taxes and all that. And I didn't want to have more on her plate. But when I realized, when I was looking at this model, this could be a solution, and she didn't say much. but I could tell, like, what am I doing? And even when we did, go into this platform, we started to grow, and she was worried that she had to handle a lot of the paperwork, a lot of the accounting.
Yeah.
And at the year end, she was asking me, hey, do I need all that? Give me all the information, like all these deals that your team is closing. I said, you don't need to handle that.
Wow.
So
Wow.
now we can get into that more too. But
yeah, that could be a whole podcast. Start a business for relatively, inexpensive. I mean, we could have a whole different ballgame on that. Cool. I like that. Okay. What advice would you give other real estate professionals who are considering making a similar transition, but may be hesitant or unsure on the virtual platform model?
Well, I wouldn't look too deeply on virtual.
Okay.
I think you need to find the right leader in any organization you're going, right? All these other companies out there, they're great. The brokers, they start up something because they have a passion for it, but that passion later on transitions to, like, as they continue to grow, right? And the thing, as a residential agent or a commercial agent, what is the end goal, right? Residual income, having a passive income. You want to own properties, right? But if you're always selling something, selling a house, selling a commercial property, doing leasing, tenant rep, things like that, you're chasing deals day after day.
Amen.
And then what happens? You become a broker, and then you start up a company, and you're recruiting agents in, and you're trying to make a split off of your agents. But what if there was a platform like this virtual platform of EXP that cuts costs? So the only reason why we're virtual is because of the hard cost of it. The solution was trying to cut costs. So if you understand, like, there's 1,000 real estate offices, it doesn't matter what brand, and they're paying $6,000 rent times 12 months, that's about $72 million just in office rent.
Wow.
So how do you cut that rent day one? So that's why when people look at this virtual world, it looks like a video game. Well, this video game cut costs.
Yeah.
And as any business owner, as any corporation, if you know how to cut costs, that's a big win without cutting down personnel support. So everything is operated in this little virtual world where you have over 2,000 employees that are helping you. The broker support, right? The brokers are W-2 employees. So in a sense, when I look at it from my point of view, well, the brokers are actually employees of corporate servicing my team, servicing you, Paul, servicing your team.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't work for the broker. The broker actually works for you and your team.
Come on.
That right there, I mean, if you understand the model and you understand that concept, why wouldn't you be in here? Because you're getting the support, all 50 states, currently in 24 countries, right? I'm going to Europe next week, trying to build our European team, our global team. Why? Because that agent in France or in Germany or Italy or Spain or Portugal can build a team in the US. We're no longer confined by boundaries. That's what a franchise does. When I bought a franchise, guess what? I'm in Dallas. I have my little territory. If I wanted to open Austin, guess what? I got to pay another franchise fee for that territory. There's no more territory. So that's another thing about this platform. It opens up so much doors and opportunity for people, not just me.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Yeah. Oh, you gave me chills. You're going to Europe, and you're also going to be able to build a business while you're in Europe. I mean, I used to brag that I could build a business from coast to coast. Now we can do it in 25 other countries.
Yeah. And it just continue to grow. And if the country's not open, guess what? Another opportunity to explain this model to a good leader that understands this model, that you can help them grow, not just their company, their country. Right. And just imagine that leader. I mean, but they have to take that opportunity, right? They have to have that vision. And not everybody does. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Looking back, what has been some of the most rewarding aspects of your journey with EXP so far?
I think it's the people.
Yeah.
In the past 3.5 years I've been in this platform, and I've been doing real estate for 20 something years.
Yeah.
This 3 years has been like the growth, the amount of leaders that I get to connect with.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I knew. You know, if I can't imagine. So if I was younger and I had this platform, it's just mind blowing, right?
Yeah.
So for those younger generation that are getting into this industry, you guys have so much opportunity,
Mm.
you know, and even now for older people like us, you and me and Paul, we still have the opportunity because we can pour into that younger generation.
Yeah.
That is the beauty of this platform is we can build up leaders, pour into the younger generation, so they continue to thrive and have the opportunity that we do.
Yeah.
But they get it early on because they're in their 20s versus us being in our 40s and 50s, right? So
Speak it. That's good. I think you also enjoy just the sheer numbers of the fact that we got 90,000 agents with EXP that are your friends. You know, you seem to make friends with almost all 90,000 of them.
well,
You enjoy that part.
when I look at 90,000 plus, I don't look at those people as just regular agents.
Yeah.
Because one thing about this company, we all own it together. So we're shareholders together in the company.
Yeah.
When I was at the franchise I think we had 35,000 agents, but there's, you know, how many brokerage offices we had, you know, we were independently owned and operated. Those agents yes, we were in the same brand, but there's really no connection. Right. Because they're all independent contractors. But when we come into this platform, yes, we're still independent contractors, but there's one more thing. We're shareholders.
Yeah.
We own this company together. And that right there is powerful. So that's another value add on owning something together. So,
yeah. And you take that serious. I mean, I've heard a lot of, you know, companies say, big organizations say, we're one team. And you get in there and you realize they're not, because of what you just said. They don't really have the connection that we have. And immediately you just started calling everybody your partner. And to the point that I would have to ask you, hey, I know you're calling so-and-so your partner, but are they part of your team? No. They're just a partner. Okay. All right. So I'm constantly, because you have so many partners coming to your office, and I'm trying to decipher which ones are part of we partners and which, you know, are our partner.
Well, you know, we have internal teams, right? My Invest team that I have is, you know, but we have 8 agents. Those I call agents because we're mentoring them, right?
Yeah.
You're mentoring your agent. You're giving them leads. We're working hand in hand, going over stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that's the traditional way. But then with this platform, why we created a network and why people are all partners together coming in is because when they join our organization, they're all independent contractors. They get shares because they do deals in this platform. That's why I call them partners.
That's right.
Because they're no longer my agent. Like you, Paul, you're not my agent. If
Yeah.
you're my agent, then you join my team, and we're working hand in hand, going over deals, going over contracts. Right? I'll be your team leader. That's what agent means.
Right.
Right. So
and I'm officially a partner because we had a transaction. So I'm a official.
That's right. That's right.
A stockholder of EXP, baby.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Even if you don't do transactions, you get stocks, right? Because as you continue to grow, you get stocks that way too.
Yeah. The transaction. I don't have a transaction personally. It's from the team.
Yeah.
Finally, what message would you like to share with others that are hesitant to embrace change, step out of their comfort zones, and join, you know, something for greater success?
Well, I think if you're first of all, we're in real estate. There is constant change all the time.
Yeah.
If you're in sales, this is a sales organ. I mean, you're in real estate selling your services, selling a home, selling a investment property, selling commercial real estate, selling that location. You're in sales, and that constantly changes. So, you know, people get comfortable. You cannot be comfortable in this type of work. If you get comfortable and you're doing the same thing over and over and over, my business partner, you know, he quotes I don't know who says it, but it's insanity, right? If you do the same thing over and over and over, that's the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Right. So we always have to grow. You have to have a growth mindset, right? Because you're getting older. I'm getting older, right? We have to learn. We have to use what we learn so we don't make the same mistakes over and over. So you got to have that growth mindset. And, I always encourage people to do coaching, invest in themselves, not just read books, but actually interact with people, go to conferences, right? Find other great leaders, people who've been through that, and surround yourself with the right people. So I think with our organization, as it's, continues to grow, that's what I've seen. I've seen great leaders come in, like yourself, Paul. I mean, you and I would never, if I had my own franchise, we would never meet unless we were doing a deal or something.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's why this platform allows us to connect with great people. And I couldn't get that with my franchise because everyone is protected of their office. Everyone's protected, and everyone's, if I had a couple offices of the same brand in the same market area, guess what? We're all recruiting. We're all trying to grow our own organization, our own company, But with this I even told some other EXP leaders, like, hey, I'm going to Europe. If you have a person that you've been connecting, or your agents have been connecting, and you want me to just help you grow, I don't mind.
Yeah.
And I send them my flyer that I'm going over there, because guess what? If we bring on a great talent to this platform, that benefits all the shareholders because we get to grow more and just more leaders.
Amen.
So that's how I look at it.
Amen. All right, let's end with this. Let's the best of your ability. Try to end with this. Tell us what you see the future of EXP. If you want to mention RevShare 2.0 a little bit, you can. That's a loaded question or a loaded one there. But anything you want to wrap up with as we're saying goodbye here?
Well, for the future, are there other competitions that are starting up? Yes. That means EXP is a proven model. Nobody copies you, or nobody wants to copy you if you're not proven. So right. One of the things I like about this is because it is proven now. Even with our organization being in here for 3.5 years, we've grown. I can prove it. It works. Second thing is, are we being agile? Because of these other companies, we've revamped our revenue sharing, because the company shares the revenue, right? As we continue to grow the company. And basically, in the past, you would have to build wide to get unlocked, tiers 2 and tiers 3. Well, guess what? They just did away with that. If you bring on tier 1, that tier 1 brings on tier 2. Well, guess what? That tier 2 does a transaction, you get the revenue. Also with tier 3. And sometimes what happens with people? Some people leave, and if you don't even have a tier 1, that's okay. You have a tier 2, tier 3. You don't have to have any tier 1 to get that tier 2 revenue sharing. Yeah. That is the beauty, because people leave the industry for different reasons. Some people retire, whatnot. It's okay. But when they did this really opened up a lot of doors, because next month I'm really going to be excited, because I know other people that don't have enough. They're not wide enough, right? Meaning they're not unlocking the potential of tier 3.
Right.
And they have maybe 10 or 15 people, and those 10 or 15 are actually doing deals.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Their revenue for next month will jump up.
Wow.
And that's going to be exciting to see as well. So
excellent. Well, thank you for your time.
We can get in more details later on, but yes, that's kind of the gist of it.
We'll do another call for that, but thank you so much for your time. I know you've been busy all day. You were on a bus tour, hanging out with a bunch of people, networking, having fun. And I'm guessing you're going home to pack right after this, because you're going to Europe for a month.
Yep, I'm going to be gone for a month, and excited. And, it's going to be a family trip, but at the same time there's always opportunity. So on my flyer, I said, meet up for coffee. So my family's still sleeping. I can meet you at 6 a.m., 7 a.m.
Yeah.
See, work-life balance, right? Well, thank you, Paul. I appreciate the time.
Hey, man, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the leader that you are. You're a leader by example. The way you treat people, the way you communicate with people, the way you truly want people to succeed. thank you, God, for putting Daniel Eng in my life, because this has just been one heck of a journey. It's only been a couple of months.